What's up, everybody? This is bballin, and I am bringing you a Dota 1 cast. Yes, it is Dota 1. I know a lot of you might be disappointed. I was hoping to bring some more Dota 2 games, but I figured that the Dota 2 beta should be coming out quite soon, and why would you want to see me cast some old games when you'd rather see some new, exciting Dota 1 games? And this has been an exciting time for the Dota 1 scene in general. There's been a lot of activity, a lot of new tournaments. WDC, HFGL League are all coming up. The HFGL League is, of course, a Chinese tournament online. WDC is in China, SMM in Malaysia coming up, ESWC, which a lot of teams are actually boycotting because you have to pay a registration fee now. And, of course, there's been a lot of shuffling. Notably, the MYM team has officially disbanded, although Milk said that they will probably be back in time for Dota 2, and it's likely that Demon and Misery and Playmate will probably play with other teams for the rest of the year, but Milk said it is not likely that neither he nor Pusher nor Mania will play too much in the coming the coming tournaments at all, which is a little sad. It's the end of an era, end of the MYM era, but we know that the players will be back for Dota 2, if not under the same team. But meanwhile, the MYM team still has a spot in the FGL League for their tournament, so let's see what they can pull together. I've been hearing some rumors that they might get some legends, so should be pretty exciting. And since it's an online tournament, it's not like they have to be all together, so it should be pretty exciting. And the other major news is that Chinese team have had another reshuffle. A lot of the former IG, or a lot of the former Tyloo and other players have left, and LGD has reformed with a lot of the former Deity players, Dream players, and ZSMJ now has a full team by himself, so I'm sure he's really happy about that. So now that they have a full team, they should be back in action. It was looking pretty grim. I read on the interview at Ghost of Gamers that ZSMJ was thinking, well, this is not looking good, and the manager Star for LGD wanted to disband, but ZSMJ told him to wait a little bit, and ZSMJ had faith that people would join his team, and Star was very patient. So shout outs to Star and the Chinese Dota scene for retaining onto one of the most beloved Chinese teams in all of Dota, LGD, and it's going to be exciting to see them play again. And finally, the final major roster changes have been to Moscow 5. If any of you have been following my YouTube channel, I posted a lot of sort of minuscule updates as the Dota 2 International Tournament, and I was very biased for two teams, MYM and Moscow 5. And I'm a little disappointed to see Arzart go and Santa, but both of them have been sort of removed from M5, and in their place they have hired PGG and Vigoss. So it should be really exciting. One of the problems I felt with M5 is that I don't think they had a true identity. They sometimes play standard, sometimes they play push, and it's always good to be versatile, but I don't think they had too much of a good idea of what they want to really be known for. And with the PG and Vigas, two of the most aggressive players, along with God, an extremely talented player, and as one of the best supports in all of Dota, and Dread, just an overall very versatile player. This version of Moscow 5 is looking really strong, and hopefully they will rise up to fill the void that MYM is leaving, and I'm looking forward to the battles that Navi and M5 are going to have in this coming time for Dota 1. So it's looking to be really exciting. I'm pretty happy to be casting a Dota 1 game. This is an AP game. I'm not sure from what tournament this is. This might be from the Pick League, but this is an AP remix, so I don't have the picks and bans. But on the Sentinel, we have the former team IN. I did a little bit of research. IN is from the Czech Republic, so it should be fun to see, but they recently signed under Mistral Gaming, so it's good to see that Dota 1 is picking up more and more sponsors as Dota 2 is being prepped for its release. So once that happens, it's going to be a good time for all Dota players, so this is really exciting. I can't wait to watch this game. It's like the excitement in my voice is palpable at this point, and I know I mispronounced that word completely. I butchered it, but it doesn't matter. Let's get into this game. So let's go. So a little bit of a weird thing because God usually plays the solo mid role, but I've been seeing in some of the M5 replays that he's playing the hard carry role. So it's going to be interesting to see what God's role will be as the team progresses. But right now, I guess Vigoss is gonna solo mid. Meanwhile, all right, let's just look at the Sentinel players for a little bit. We have Villic on the Void, Reached on the Furion, the CZE, which I assume means the Czech, on the Venomancer, Prof Headshot on the Omni Knight, and who's the last pick? Who is that last pick? I can't see you. Oh, Sirse. SRRS on the Vengeful Spirit. So, looks like they're going to go for a ganking lineup, probably to support the Void. They're going to try to gank as much as possible, turtle with the Venomancer and the Furion Ultimate, which can turtle very effectively, but go for a lot of ganks with the Vengeful Spirit, with the Prophet, and let the Omni Knight farm him up solo mid. But who's Omni Knight gonna face solo mid? It's fucking Vigoss. Equilibrium, which is Vigoss. He's gonna be playing the Ancient Apparition mid. We have PGG playing the Enigma. Usually we see PGG playing sort of a roaming, ganking support role along with the Dread and NS. Or PGG plays the aggressive roamer who turns into semi-carry, bottom, windrunner, etc. We have Dread playing the Beastmaster. Dread usually jungles for M5, so it's going to be interesting to see his Beastmaster. And meanwhile, we have Rikimaru being played by God. So this should be a pretty fun game. We have a Riki. When was the last time you saw a Riki in any pro game? No matter if it was a pub or anything like that. And NS is going to be rounding out the M5 roster on the Keeper of the Light. And you can see NS's items. He had jack shit. He got wards, and he got sentries, and he got the chicken. So NS is dirt poor. But as long as he can get God a lot of free farm, this top lane should be doing all right. And Venomancer knows that, okay, he can't see anybody on the minimap. And I wonder if... No, it doesn't look like Mistral had a ward to spot that. And looks like Keeper of the Light is just going to nuke down this wave. And M5 is already going for a very aggressive push strat. This is really... I mean, this is the first wave of creeps, for fuck's sake. And they're already doing a lot of damage to the tower. Baron is forced to be pulled out of the jungle to help defend. And I don't think they can defend it. The towers are already pretty much almost at a little bit over half HP. So, looks like, at least in this lane, Venomancer should be able to handle himself pretty well against God, although God has a little bit of an early level advantage, but this Venomancer should be able to harass the Riki and get back into the game. Meanwhile, Omni Knight looks like he's abandoning the mid lane. He's just going to let it fall. I don't really agree with... I mean, there's not really too much Omni Knight could do in that situation, but what can he do up top besides hurt down the Riki and steal some experience from the Veno? I mean, you want your Omni Knight to get as much EXP as possible, because Omni Knight without EXP is pretty worthless. He needs decent level of degen aura, max heal, and max repel, and a couple levels in the ultimate in order to be truly effective. So it looks like they want to do that. It looks like they're saying the Venomancer to bot lane, which is to mid lane, which is a smart choice. Even though Moscow 5 did take out the first middle to tower, and doing lane switch is very smart because Venomancer with his wards, once it gets to high enough levels, will be able to successfully, or well, not really successfully, but try to push back the Moscow 5 team and get themselves back in the game. Meanwhile, a relatively tame lane is happening bottom, where we have Dread's Beastmaster being harassed a lot, and he only has one creep kill to show for it against the Void Vengeful Spirit lane. But Void needs a lot of items, and this mid-game strategy by M5 should get to Void. I wouldn't be surprised to see Void pick up Battle Fury to sort of help clear the creeps, help burst down the Eidolons, and just help push back the Moscow 5 team. But Void does need a lot of HP. I think Void just needs to get a fast level 6, get his ultimate, and be a total havoc. Let's see, God's farm is at 14-4. Omni Knight's 2 creep kills. Omni Knight's not going to get that soul ring for a couple minutes, and Riki already has some boots, so he should be able to handle himself in lane quite effectively. Meanwhile, Vigoss is farming up mid. No kills happening so far, but it's been pretty action intensive. Already a push tower down within the first minute and a half, and Venomancer is dropping some wards. It's level 2 wards, so they can be killed, but they're still quite annoying. They ain't no level 1 wards, that's what I can tell you. Meanwhile, NS is in the jungle trying to get all the XP he can, because M5 are going to clearly look to win this in the early to mid game stage. I mean, Riki is a pretty strong late game, but he can't measure up to a Void, in my opinion. Riki is pretty mobile, and he can, of course, be invisible and gank around the map, and his backstab scales quite well. but I think Chronosphere would be too powerful in the late game. So looks like Enigma PGG is going to pour back up top and continue the push. So I want to talk a little bit about Ricky. So we see God playing with Ricky, who's the hard carry, and this fits pretty well with what the new M5 is doing. I think they want God to play the hard carry, let the other team be aggressive, just constantly pressure their opponents and get God a lot of free farm. Meanwhile, NS is doing some nice harassment on the Alien Knight, doing some chakra magic on himself to refill his mana, and looks like this tower is going to fall. So already 2 towers about to pop for the MYM. And Vigoss saying 5 level idiot. I assume that means he wants to get level 5, and he's calling PG's captaining, so he's pink, but I assumed Dread or NS would be captain. But meanwhile, Vigoss is jumping in, and it looks like he got baited pretty hardcore. But NS followed up with a nice impale. Meanwhile, and mouse spazzes up, sorry, but you did see the Illuminate blast through the waves, get the Vengeful Spirit, and looks like God is going to get himself a kill on the Fury and get the Blink Strike. Nice. Good play by the M5 roster. It looked like they were in a bad situation, but NS was doing a good job cleverly hiding himself inside the fog. And Vigoss was the appropriate bait, and nobody can, even when Ricky's not invisible, he can still be quite a nuisance because of his small hero size and all of that. And he can still do a lot of damage, Blink Strike. You can't underestimate it as a nuke at any stage of the game, even at the early game. So looks like the M5 are already pushing this tower. Jesus Christ, this is... I wanted to talk a little bit more about the picks and what's been happening in Dota, but jeez, the M5 team is not letting me have this, and looks like Vengeful Spirit has been stunned, but Vigoss is definitely going to down to the Venomancer. Meanwhile, Fury TP'd in, managed to save the Vengeful Spirit, and looks like PGG will be the next one to fall. Oh, managed to cancel the salve on the Vengeful Spirit, but cannot pick up the Vengeful Spirit, and PGG pays for his life. So it looks like a lot of the aggression has been denied, but nice play by God, managing to pick off the Vengeful Spirit and escaping with the sliver of HP. Looks like he's going to pick up his magic wand. He has his treads. He's going to be fine. He's going to go back to the Fountain Heal, but I managed to pick up a Soul Ring. Fearon got Basilius, and look, he turned on his aura to prevent a lot of the pushing, to give his creeps a lot more armor and to prevent a lot of the physical damage that the M5 team can do. Always a smart thing to do when you're Fearing and you're pushing or trying to stop a push. Turn on your Ring of Basilius, give your team a lot of mana regen, and also give your creeps armor, which is always useful. You can survive a couple more hits from the add-ons, survive a little bit more damage from the Wild Axes, because Wild Axes I think is mixed damage, or is it physical? But either way, it is affected by armor. That's why it hits golems. Meanwhile, Void is farming mad really well. He has 40 creep kills and 7 minutes, manages to die to a nice Roar Malefice combo by PGG and Dread, and that farm by Void is going to be all for naught. Meanwhile, Venomancer, Vigoss dives in on the Venomancer, but oh, can he